You've just pulled into the driveway with a set of fresh rubber, and as you step out of the car, you notice them. Vibrant, perfectly straight lines of red, yellow, blue, or white running right across the tread of your brand new tires. They look intentional, almost like a secret code from the manufacturer. You might start wondering if you've unlocked some hidden performance feature, or if these colors signify something critical about the safety of your vehicle. Do these colors show tire quality? Is a red line reserved for high-performance racing tires, while a yellow one indicates a budget-friendly economy model? Maybe they help the mechanic align the tire during the mounting process. And perhaps the most baffling part, why do these lines completely vanish after just a few miles of driving? Those colored lines aren't there for drivers, but without them, a tire factory could become a chaotic and surprisingly confusing place. While most people assume these markings are for the consumer, the truth is much more industrial. We are going to dive deep into why these lines exist, but first, let's clear up a few things. One commonly confused marking on your tire actually does help during the installation process, and we'll reveal exactly what that is later on. Before we get to the real answer, let's look at the most believable myths floating around the automotive world. You might have heard that these colors indicate the tread quality or the specific compound density used in the rubber. Some believe they reveal how fresh the tire is, acting as a sort of expiration date for the rubber's grip. Others are convinced that the lines show whether the tire is a premium or budget version of the same model. A popular theory suggests they help drivers detect uneven wheel alignment or suspension issues if the lines wear off unevenly. There is even a group of people who think the lines indicate exactly where the tire should touch the road for maximum fuel efficiency. While these theories sound logical, they are all incorrect. These stripes are strictly internal tools. However, these stripes shouldn't be confused with the colored dots found on the sidewall. We will explain that important difference shortly, as those dots actually do matter to your mechanic. To understand why these lines exist, we have to take a trip inside a modern tire factory. A tire is not just a single piece of rubber popped out of a mold like a giant donut. It is a highly engineered assembly of numerous specialized components. The tread and the sidewall rubber start their lives as raw compounds that are shaped through a process called extrusion. During this stage, different rubber mixtures are pushed through a machine called an extruder, which shapes them into long, continuous strips. After the tread rubber is extruded, it is measured and cut to the precise length needed for a specific tire size. These components are then assembled onto a drum to create what the industry calls a green tire, which is basically an uncured, raw tire that hasn't been hardened yet. Finally, the green tire is placed inside a curing mold where heat and pressure transform it into the finished product you see at the shop. The reason things get complicated is that a single factory might be handling dozens of different tread compounds, profiles, models, and sizes all at the exact same time. On the assembly line, many of these tread strips look virtually identical to the naked eye. Imagine a worker surrounded by thousands of feet of black rubber strips that differ by only a few millimeters in width or a slight variation in the chemical compound. Without a clear system, it would be incredibly easy to accidentally put a high-performance tread on an all-season tire casing. This is where the main reveal comes in. Those colored stripes are primarily manufacturing identification marks. Specialized tread striping ink is applied to the uncured tread immediately after the extrusion process. These industrial marking systems use specific combinations of stripes and codes for product identification and production tracking. Even patents for tire manufacturing describe these continuous colored tread lines as vital identification marks. They serve a simple but vital purpose. They assist industrial workers, and automated systems quickly discern tread materials and standards. They serve as a quick visual reference to avoid component mixing during assembly. These labels aid production, handling, sorting, and inventory management. The factory generates a basic visual code using color and position combinations. Imagine the back of a huge computer server room. Look for hundreds of identical black cords. Technicians use zip ties or colored labels to identify cables. Your tire's stripes serve the same purpose for their makers. They always put the proper rubber on the right tire. Why do factories utilize colors instead of putting the tire name on the tread? Answer: speed and efficiency. A distinct stripe can be seen from afar, even when rubber is moving swiftly on a conveyor belt. Workers can read tiny molded lettering or scanned barcodes without stopping. Combining stripe colors and placements allows the producer to create hundreds of unique identifiers for similar products. This branding can stay with the tread material from extrusion to curing press. Precision systems on modern tire extrusion machinery print these colored stripes, identification codes, numbers, and letters directly onto the rubber as it is created. A warehouse row of tires may have multiple stripe combinations. You would imagine that the stripes tell warehouse workers which bin each tire belongs in without looking at the sidewall labels. This is crucial. These colors have no common consumer code. Never assume a color signifies the same across brands. Avoid the misconception that red lines imply sports tires and yellow lines indicate sizes. No industry standard states that 2 lines are better than 1. These combinations are factory IDs. Without information from the tire manufacturer, the colors are worthless. 2 tires with different stripes may be the same model, only made at different times or facilities. However, matching stripes do not prove that 2 tires are equal in every way. The second reveal we promised: tread lines versus sidewall dots. Factory tread lines are used. However, sidewall colored dots are for tire and wheel match mounting. These dots have different meanings by manufacturer, but they are useful during installation. Yokohama says a red sidewall mark indicates maximum radial force fluctuation. This helps the technician align the tire and wheel for optimal rotation. Continental says red sidewall dots indicate the tire's lightest spot on particular motorbike tires. Aligning this dot with the valve stem helps balance the tire with less lead weight. Lines make tires, while dots install them. This differentiation is the supplementary benefit. Why do tread lines fade so quickly? Some drivers worry that their tires are wearing out early since the colors fade after a grocery store trip. Actually, these stripes are surface marks. Not all of the tread is colored rubber. Friction begins when the tire hits the asphalt. The abrasive road surface eventually removes the thin ink layer. Depending on tread design and tire flexing under load, lines fade unevenly. This disappearance is planned and anticipated. They were never meant to last the tire's lifetime because its job was done when it left the manufacturer. Losing colored lines does not mean your tire is worn out. It only means it has started its road life. Smart consumers should prioritize what's important when buying new rubber. Always verify the sidewall's molded information before judging a tire by its temporary colored stripes. Check tire size and load and speed ratings to make sure they fit your vehicle. Make sure the tire type suits your climate and driving needs. Checking the DOT manufacturing date code is crucial. 4 digits. The first 2 are the week and the last 2 are the year. Indicate when the tire was created. Check for cracks, deformations, and storage damage visually. All relevant consumer information is permanently molded into the sidewall. not displayed via tread stripes. Let's revisit your first impression of your new tires. Bright lines are neither decorations, performance grades, or tread wear indicators. They are transient signs of a complicated manufacturing process that ensures quality and accuracy. The next time you see red or blue stripes, it's not a driver message. It's a piece of the factory's history on the finished product. After learning the secret of the lines, examine the small rubber hairs covering a new tire, whose role is likewise misunderstood.